Every time I start streaming live, then I'm like, oh, there's 30,000 things I have to fix. But I hope all is well with everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome in today. I want us to continue our talk about breaking the cycle from sugar and breaking free from sugar's grip on our life and understanding what it's doing to our body and understanding the impact, and going down the wrong path is not leading us to the health that we deserve. So we have to get back on the right track, on the right path that is going to allow us to heal. So we have to establish new healthy habits that are going to allow us to get to the space of being in this right path, being in the space of true healing, understanding what true healing is. And so if you are in the space where you know you need a change, you know you need a difference, you understand that your body is working against you rather than with you and it's not healing, then you have come to the realization that you are on the wrong path. And so you're looking for a change, you're looking for a solution. And not only will this live be your solution, but we will also have many solutions coming with the future lives, with the lives that we have passed on my YouTube. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and go check out my YouTube so you can check out the past lives. But today we're talking about breaking free from the grip of sugar and understanding this, and breaking free and understanding the impact that it's had on our body, and breaking free from that impact and changing our lifestyle and changing the habits that we have. And so we're going to be diving into understanding what this impact sugar has had on our body and what it's doing to us, and why it's really harming our current society in the way that we are with our generation, the past generation, and the generation that is new, or the generation that is coming. And so the question that I have to start out for you is, have you ever felt like that your body is fighting against you, that it's just not working with you, that you seem like you're struggling to either heal, to be healthy, you're struggling to feel energized, you're struggling to maintain a healthy weight, you're struggling to feel full and to stay full, overall just feeling like your body is working against you? No matter what you do, whatever you put in, you just feel like that you're never eating right, you're never being supported, and you feel like your body is literally fighting against you, like you're playing a game of cat and mouse, like you're trying to catch up to your body, but it's never actually working. This whole concept that you have around healthy and eating right is keeping you drained. It's keeping you fatigued. It's making you sit here and feel like that a healthy lifestyle is not going to work for you because you're following diet culture. Diet culture will never allow you to have the balance that you need, the support you need of feeling energized, and it will keep you in this spiraling lifestyle of not being supported and feeling like you're never doing it right, that you're playing this chase of cat and mouse. Diet culture will never get you to the healing space that you deserve and that you need. Instead, you constantly feel like your health is spiraling in the wrong direction. And so you stop doing healthy habits because in your brain, you are subconsciously telling yourself, hey, at the end of the day, everybody has to go through this. And so then now consciously you're making the choices that say, at the end of the day, as long as I'm enjoying my life, I'm going to have to suffer. So I might as well just eat the junk. Not realizing that you don't have to suffer, and two, you haven't been showing your body the real true health because you have been following diet culture, and diet culture throws off your hormonal balance as well as makes you go into fight or flight mode, which is not going to support you. It's not going to help you. And so what if I tell you that the root cause to your whole entire issue is because of the way that you're consuming, and you're not using food as your medicine. You're using it as a temporary fix of calorie counting and restricting, and you're sitting here doing all these keto and paleo and Weight Watchers as momentary facades for you to have a momentary band-aid to fix the issue that you have been piling on for years on end. That's not going to work. But instead, they're getting to the root cause of the issue is looking like and observing the habits that you have when it comes to food, and understanding the terrible habits and toxic foods that you eat, and realizing that you have to cut out these processed sugars that are making you toxic, these processed foods that are full of additives and fillers that are going to make you toxic, and that you are over consuming every single day, which is making you sick. You feel stuck. You feel like nothing is going to change because you do this same pattern every single day. So stick with me through this live, because today we're going to break free from this sugar hold, this grip that sugar has on our life. And you can start today simply by taking what I give you in this live, all the past lives that I give you, and start shifting your health to healing from the inside out, all by using food as your medicine and understanding how to do that. Understanding the concept of eating real whole foods that come from the earth and natural foods that support you. Because the problem is, The sugar that you have and that you consume on a regular basis is making you addicted, as well as the fact that it's impacting your hormonal imbalances. It's impacting them in a negative way. It's making your hormones thrown off. Thank you for the follows and the likes, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you so, so much. And so here's the statistics for you. Here's some statistics for you to sit here and for you to ponder on and for you to sit here and grab your attention. I want you to think about the fact that in the U.S. alone, the average adult consumes about 17, I think, tablespoons of sugar, 17 teaspoons of sugar, added sugar a day. 17 teaspoons of added sugar a day. And this is processed, highly processed sugar. This is not the natural sugar from fruits. This is not agave. This is not date syrup. This is just heavily processed sugar alone. 17 teaspoons at least. At least. A majority of society throws their body off in more than one way when it comes to your blood sugar being elevated with the foods that you eat. So that's not even including the carbs that you consume that throws off your blood sugar. That's not even sitting there considering the non-stable foods that you eat with your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner. Because you're not stabilizing, because you're not getting the right or proper amount of balance of nutrients. And so when you eat processed sugars, when you drink your sugary drinks, when you eat these carbs, you're completely throwing off your body's balance when it comes to your hormones. And it's also making you addicted to the sugars because your body is constantly craving sugar, trying to replace the sugar you're expelling. And you never cleanse and you never release, so you never use the energy from the fat that you consume, the healthy fats that you should be eating. So instead, your body relies on sugar for it to be converted into energy. And majority of society is not using natural sugar to convert into energy. They're using the processed, heavily processed sugar to try to convert into energy, which your body cannot do. So instead, your body flushes the sugar. It holds onto it and puts it in your gut, puts it in your lower intestine, puts it in your digestive tract. That's how you bloat. That's how you gain excess weight. That's why you have weight fluctuation, because your body cannot convert that into energy. So it holds onto it, hoping that maybe one day we'll be able to use it. This is toxic. Toxins store inside of your fat cells. Toxins make you inflamed. Inflammation causes diseases. Inflammation leads you to having cancer. Full circle of being unhealthy, all because you followed this path of believing in diet culture, believing in what society has told you, and you keep following the same path that everybody else is doing of being ill and consuming crap. And so realize that when you were consuming, for example, on average, this 17 teaspoons of sugar daily, that more, which is more than triple the recommended amount a day. The American Heart Association is talking about how this is impacting your heart, how this is negatively impacting your heart, how this is causing issues like high blood pressure, how it's causing issues like clogged arteries, how sugar literally throws off your brain balance to the point where it literally makes you go insane. There are so many scientific studies that talk about this. Thank you for the likes, guys. Understand that over 88 million Americans, 88 million Americans are pre-diabetic. More than half of America is dealing with insulin resistance and diabetes. Over half of America. How is that not a national crisis when it comes to the sugars that we consume and we're allowed to have in our home, in our foods? Because it should be. Even if it's not a national crisis for them to tell you on the news that, oh my goodness, just like in 2020 when they came to tell you that you need to stay in your homes and all this stuff. If they're not telling you directly on the news, why is it still not a problem in your home? Like, let's really just be honest. When you sit there and observe the world and how these statistics are telling you, why is it not a problem made just in your home alone? Why do you have to have somebody else govern over you to tell you it's a problem if you can observe and see that there's an issue? You look at your family, you look at yourself and your health, and you see that there's a problem, and you don't raise concern to the issue. Because at the end of the day, it's not telling you on TV that it's a problem. Your mindset is so misconstrued because you're so heavily brainwashed into following what everybody else is doing, and that's a problem. Hello, welcome in. Thanks for the follows, guys. You have to understand that these processed sugars are highly addictive. They throw off your chemical balance just like drugs. These drugs, just like, for instance, if somebody's on the street begging for money for them to buy cocaine, to buy different types of drugs and things like that, it activates your dopamine response just like the other ones. And that's just from sugar. And so you're sitting there stimulating your brain with these sugars, making it crave more, making it sit here and throw your chemical balance off. So this is the reason why you have PCOS. This is the reason why you have fibroids. This is the reason why you're sitting here anxious. The reason why you're sitting here going in and out of panic attacks. Not realizing it's because you're not stabilizing your blood sugar every single day, which will make you go insane. Heavily processed sugars, that's white sugar and brown sugar. The granulated sugar you can get in the store that they put in all your processed foods. When you flip over and it says it has added sugars in it, it's white processed sugar, brown processed sugar. Agave is natural. Natural sugars are never going to harm you if you're consuming them correctly and not over consuming them. Fruits does not count, but I'm talking about like if you use agave nectar, if you're using date syrup, if you're using cane sugar or cane syrup, those things are not going to affect you. Maple syrup, those things are not going to affect you. You're asking me what hypertension is? That's what... What? Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. I don't know what in the world this notification is. Hold on, y'all. Okay, there we go. I don't know what that was. Thanks for the follow. Did y'all also get a notification on your screen? You said what about honey? Honey is natural too. Yeah, sorry. Honey is natural. Honey is natural because it comes straight from the earth. I know that there are people that like, for instance, the people that label themselves vegan, which I do not label myself as vegan. It gave me 2. What in the world? Okay, so can y'all see my live? Because I might have to restart, y'all. I might have to restart because this crap is talking about, it gave me a live restriction and then now it's gone. Okay, now it's gone. Okay, sorry. Okay, back to what we were talking about. So you asked what hypertension is. Hypertension is high blood pressure. Yes, you have high blood pressure. So we were talking about the fact that when you, for instance, consume too much sugar, it's going to cause heart problems. Heart problems also come from, it's a chronic disease. It's also coming from you having high blood pressure that causes hypertension that affects your heart. Clog your arteries, has a whole bunch of issues. There's a lot of vegans who don't consume honey. I don't consider myself vegan. I consider myself plant-based. So anything that comes from the earth, I consume. Far as plants, fruits, vegetables, I do consume honey because I don't see that an issue at all, in my opinion. I don't like the fact that like they do have to spray the bees down to get them to calm down, but like honey's so natural, it has so many properties of healing that it's doing a disservice to not consume honey for myself and my personal self because I use it a lot for medicine. And so you can even just use it for a natural sweetener. Yes, so it's like it's just, in my opinion, for my lifestyle, it's not feasible. I've always been a person that uses honey, and so it's like the honey is not the problem, and all the things that we have in the earth, honey is not the problem. Thanks to the follows. Okay, you can see me. Okay, thanks to the follows. Okay, I'm just wanting to make sure because it gave me some random notification of my live being restricted, and I appealed it, and I guess they took it away now because it's like there's nothing going on. Anyway, like I guess nothing going on. I guess maybe because I said DRUG, and it was like, hold up, what is she talking about? But like nothing's being done, so obviously we're just talking, and so I just wanted to make sure and to be clear, but it activates your brain the same way with the dopamine response pathways that in your brain, the same way when you use the DRUG word, when you use those things, when people are using those things. And so you have to really step back and take a look and realize, how long have you been sitting here throwing off your chemical balance? How long have you been sitting here putting your body in a fight or flight state over the fact that you just want to keep eating Oreos and hot Takis and your Swedish fish, and you want to keep eating, what are those things called? What are those? Sour Patch Kids. And you want to keep eating Cinnamon Toast Crunch in the AM, or making your French toast with a lot of sugar in it, or you making Cheerios and pouring sugar down it, or Frosted Flakes. When it's like you can sweeten it up, you just throw a little bit of honey in there and it'll be the same thing, but you're so addicted to the processed white sugars and brown sugars that you literally sit here and throw off your chemical balance to the point where you can't even recognize the problem. You can't even see the warning signs of your body telling you like, hey, you have too much sugar. And so you're going to lead yourself to having fatty liver disease because now your liver is working too hard to sit here and process this excess sugar. and try to make this sugar into a healthy fat, which it cannot do. Also sit there and realize that when you are consuming these sugars, it throws off your body's hormonal imbalance, which is going to not only affect your organs, but it's also going to force your pancreas to work overload, which is going to sit here, which it produces your insulin. It produces your insulin naturally. So it's going to make it have an overproduction of insulin. This is how you start to develop insulin resistance. This is when your body no longer realizes and recognizes insulin, so then it resists the insulin. And this is where it does not convert it into anything that you can use, but instead gives you diabetes. If you're pregnant and you're craving sweets, definitely get yourself on the fresh fruits. If you are not a fruit consumer and you're just like, I just don't want to sit here and eat fruits, great things for you to do is to substitute it in for, like, for instance, making yourself a fresh cobbler. There are plenty of like different recipes for you to incorporate it. If you want to make a smoothie, drink your fruits. If you want to sit here and, combine it, for instance, I love apples in different forms outside of their natural normal form. So if you pair apples with you doing some date syrup, some strawberries with some date syrup, doing different things like that, even just getting you a little bit of cane sugar on the side, if this is your snack for yourself, getting you a whole date it resembles the same thing as you getting chocolate and pairing it with your strawberry, if that makes sense. These are things that I love to do, especially when I'm doing cleanses. If I'm like, I really want something sweet, I'll get strawberries and I'll get some dates, and that will work and give you that same satisfaction you would of eating strawberries and chocolate. And doing simple things of like making you a tea, if you love to drink tea like I do, adding cinnamon in it. If don't consume dairy, but if you still are a milk drinker like I am, I love milk, I've always loved milk. So what I do is, if I want milk, for instance, I'll add some cinnamon into it, so it still gives me that sweet aspect, kind of like Cinnamon Toast Crunch when you drink the milk at the bottom. Adding ice, adding some cinnamon in it, and usually it's like oat milk or coconut milk for me, and shaking it up or mixing it up and drinking it that way, it gives you that same response of thinking that you've eaten a whole lot of sugar without actually consuming a whole lot of sugar. Cinnamon, I do add honey sometimes, but cinnamon tricks your brain into thinking that you've had a whole lot of sugar. That is one good way, if you are addicted to sweets, to get off of it. And I'm giving y'all this tip because these are the type of tips that I give you when you're in my program. This is a great tip that helped me get away from sugar for like night snacking, because I'm a big night snacker. For instance, night snacking, if you are a big night snacker, get some milk. Just like they say, the milk helps you go to sleep because of all the different things. Not dairy, but like coconut milk, almond milk, whatever kind of milk that is an alternative that does not have additives and fillers. Get you that milk, add some cinnamon in it. If you're like me and like ice, I like to add ice into it. Mix it up and drink it and see how it changes. Like, yes, you're going to be like, oh, this didn't mix in, because obviously it's not warm unless you want to warm it up. But it is still giving you that same response. And I don't mind the cinnamon being in it. Honestly, I like cinnamon to the point where like I like the little bit of taste of cinnamon, so it doesn't bother me. But when you have insulin resistance, it disrupts your cortisol in your body, which that is your stress hormone. So it makes your stress hormone rise. And this is also going to affect your estrogen levels, because when you are stressed out as a woman and a man, because you can also elevate your estrogen levels as a man. Sit here and realize that I love vanilla in mine, but vanilla is not going to give you the response of like making your brain think that you've eaten a whole lot of sugar. It's just going to make it sweet, and then you're going to crave. In my opinion, it's just going to make you crave more. The cinnamon is really the aspect that's going to help you with that. But this disrupts your cortisol, which is your stress hormone, and it raises your estrogen in men and women. And so when you look at women, a lot of times, because I have a Thrive as a CEO program, and that's for women that are stressed out in their business, they're stressed out in their position in their high earning business, if they have their own business, or if they're just working in a high level position, understanding what that stress is doing to their body, and the reason why that they are having weight fluctuation, the reason why they don't feel like they can regulate themselves after they get off from work, so they overeat. All of these different aspects that you feel when you are sick, or when you are not sick, but when you are stressed out, making yourself sick, that is all because you are raising your cortisol, which raises your estrogen, which can cause PCOS, fibroids, infertility issues. That can cause breast cancer. It can cause different types of cancer down in your uterus. Like, it can cause all these issues with men too. Lower testosterone can cause cancer down there. Like, all of these different issues, all because you're so stressed out internally. And you don't realize that that's because your cortisol is high and you're not lowering it. And then you're making your body in fight or flight mode because of the foods that you're eating. And so when you can learn how to control your stress, you also start to learn to control your metabolism more. And so if you are already stressed out on top of the fact that your metabolism is low and it's not working the way that it should be, and you're not using food as your medicine, that is three aspects that are causing different types of stress in your body, which is going to lead you to having internal issues like having a chronic illness, like developing cancer, like having an overload for your organs to have to deal with every single day, which is going to cause imbalances. And so these organ overloads, like we already talked about with your liver, it causes a process of having excess sugar in your body, which is trying to expel and to try to convert into healthy fat for you to convert into energy, which is not going to work, which is going to lead you to having fatty liver disease. You having issues with all of this sugar is going to cause issues with your kidney. This is going to make your kidney struggle to filter out all the sugar, filter out all the toxins from the sugar. Let me rephrase that, because your kidney is the way for you to filter out toxins. So if you're sitting here consuming processed sugars, heavily processed sugars that are toxic to you, and you're doing this on a regular, you're making your kidneys work over time, which is going to cause a hormonal imbalance, and it's going to make it stop filtering out toxins. And so thinking about just that one function alone, when you stop helping your kidneys filter toxins and you put more poison in than you're actually helping, you are going to eventually lead yourself to your kidneys no longer doing their job and it leaking into your intestinal tract, it leaking into your bloodstream. This is why people get on dialysis. This is the reason why people have to have surgeries. They're not sitting here pinpointing where you're getting this from, but they just tell you when you get the issue and get diagnosed that, hey, you have to fix this. Hey, you have to go on this prescription. Hey, you have to start doing dialysis. And you don't realize that and pinpoint that the connection that has to be made of the fact that you were insulin resistant and you're causing toxins to build up inside of your body and you've been throwing off your body's balance for too many years. And so realize that not only are you throwing off your liver and your kidney, but you're also causing an imbalance in your heart, like we talked about at the beginning, because these high sugar levels cause inflammation. This inflammation causes you to having hypertension and cardiovascular disease. And so this is going to affect your arteries. This is going to affect you having high blood pressure. This is going to affect you, and inflammation affects more than just one thing. So inflammation is going to completely take over your body and affect your body in a negative way. And you're not realizing that how bad it's going to throw off your body, all because you're sitting here consuming any kind of way, and you're not really sitting there and I'm trying to think of the word. You're not sitting there and consciously becoming aware of how this has affected your body. And so now you're not only sitting here with cardiovascular disease and hypertension, but you're also sitting there not realizing your brain has been thrown off. And so the sugar has disrupted your brain balance so much to the point you have no cognitive function like you used to. You don't have any recollection of the memories that you used to have because you've caused cognitive function issues, poor circulation in the brain fog. You're causing blockages, all because you're sitting here consuming this toxic sugar that is not supporting you and not realizing what it's doing to your body. When you could start shifting that and you could start changing that, your body feels like it's fighting itself because you're sitting there triggering it with all the sugar that you're eating because it's causing inflammation. This is fight or flight mode. You're literally triggering yourself over some food, over some sugar, over the fact that you're not balancing your body, but you eat a whole lot of carbs, a whole lot of processed sugar, a whole lot of junk. And so you're making your immune system work overtime because it's overactive. It's overworking itself, trying to find that balance and trying to figure out what it can do for itself to help itself. And so you don't realize the fact that like processed carbs, meat, dairy, all contribute to this and cause issues. They all sit here and affect your balance. It all affects your body's functions. It affects your brain function, which also counteracts everything else that's going on inside of your body. I guess it really did center my life because this is really insane because nobody else is coming in, which I'm fine with, talking to the people that we have in here, but I would love for it to be able, like, it didn't even send out, like, I share to see if it sends out. I didn't even send out my share. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to come back in 2 seconds. I'm going to restart my live, just so I can reach to the people before we get to the rest of it, and then come back. Like, I'm literally just gonna restart my live if we can get this going, and so that I can post this full thing on YouTube as well. So hold on one second, we're gonna